Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm very excited to be reviewing a Cyber Hobby exclusive figure for you. I know it's been a while since I've found any new dragon figures. The market has been pretty dry, but I was able to find this one a few weeks ago, luckily, off eBay, and I paid around $130 for him, which if you know anything about this figure, he's incredibly rare. So for that reason, you may have never even heard of this one. I've only seen him twice for sale on eBay, so very, very hard to find. So very excited to find this one. Finally, it's been, I think, over 3 years I've been searching for him. So let's jump right in and take a look at this box. So his name is Corporal Larry Reed. He's a U.S. Army BAR gunner, 106th Infantry Division from Ardennes, 1944. And there's the only picture that you get on the box of the figure. Looks really cool. And there's the box. It was made in 2006. I really love these Cyber Hobby boxes. There's a little card that you get. This is number 13. And if I had to guess, I would say there's probably not a lot of these made, which hence why he's so rare. And then just a few things that I haven't actually applied to the figure yet. So we've got his corporal patches here, and then also his 106th patch to put on his sleeve. So that's really cool. I don't know of any other dragon figures that come with that patch, so I believe he's the only one. Alright, well, let's put aside the box now and take a look at the figure. So here he is. Now, while I really love this figure, there are definitely some issues with him, which I'll get into. But overall, he looks fantastic, I think. And he feels really good too. He's pretty solid and just, yeah, really like him. Okay, so for his weapon, obviously he comes with the BAR, and he holds it really well. And I know already some of you are probably gnashing your teeth if you've noticed his hands are the bendy hands, which I know a lot of collectors hate these, including myself, but I've got to say, they actually work pretty well on this figure. They're not as bad as some others I've seen, and he holds the BAR actually really well. Now, as far as appearance, I don't really like how they look. They look kind of small and a little, I don't know, just not realistic. But they're not horrible compared to other ones that I've seen. And, you know, you can always swap them out for different hands if you want. But here's the BAR. We've got a pretty nice sling on here that you can adjust if you want. And the mag comes out, of course. We've got the folding bipod here in the front. You can't take this off though. That's attached to the weapon. And then, so I'm not sure about other people who have this figure, but my one didn't come with a handlebar for the BAR. And on the box, if you notice, it shows that he has a handlebar for it. So I'm not sure if that was just a production issue with this particular figure or if that is for all of these figures. But so this isn't actually his. I had to borrow this from somebody else. So that was kind of frustrating. But like I said, I'm not sure if that's just for the one I got or if that's across the board for all of these figures. But yeah, he holds this really well, and I do like having the handlebar on there for posing purposes. And then he also looks really cool with it slung over his shoulder like this. All right, so that's the BAR. Next, let's take a look at equipment. And this is where we have some more issues with this figure. So overall, like I said, he looks really cool, but he seems to be just lacking very much with equipment. He doesn't come with a whole lot of stuff here, and stuff that you would expect for the typical US figure. Like, he doesn't come with a canteen, there's no medical pouch, not really much of anything here, which is kind of unrealistic and a bit of a bummer. Like, there's no entrenching tool. So, I mean, these are things you can add yourself, obviously, but still, the fact that the original figure didn't come with any of this is kind of a bummer, and I'm not really sure why they did that. But the pouches here for his belt are pretty cool. There's only one of these says US on them, though. The rest are just blank. So that kind of bothers me too, if I'm being honest. They do give you 2 extra mags for the BAR, and I've got those up in the front. And then this is my biggest problem with this figure. The harness was an absolute nightmare to get onto this belt. Some of these US figures, this is a typical situation where the harness is just really hard to get through these little holes. But this one, I have never had so much of a struggle as with this figure. In fact, I didn't even get them all the way through. I just had to kind of clip them on just to get them to stay, because it was just such a pain. And 2 of them actually just snapped. And back here, I know this isn't accurate, but I just had to clip them on to these holes. They're supposed to be clipped on to these, but I couldn't get them through. So I actually ordered another harness, and hopefully that'll help. But these were just absolutely impossible to get hooked on. So that was my biggest complaint with this figure. And yeah, I think that's the thing overall with this figure. He seems very unfinished, you know, just lack of equipment. The harness is a pain. He didn't come with the handlebar. Even the pouches, where only one of them says US on it, it seems very unfinished. Or as you can see, it comes with a cigarette pack, but there's not even any, like, usually they have some writing on there or something, but there's just nothing. So to me, this figure feels a little rushed and unfinished. So just be aware of that if you do find this figure. So anyway, those are my complaints with him. But it is really cool that you do get a little cigarette pack here, and that looks cool if you stick it inside of his coat like that. All right, well, let's take a look at the helmet and the head sculpt. And this is a plastic helmet, and it looks really good on the figure. And then the head sculpt is very impressive. The Cyber Hobby head sculpts are always really nice looking. This is one of those ultra detail head sculpts, and it looks really good, especially the hair. All right, and I guess quickly, I'm gonna just take off his belt and harness, and I'll show you the coat and what's underneath. I'll try to carefully do this without breaking anything further. So here's the coat, excuse me, here's the coat, which looks really good on the figure. It fits very nicely. I like the buttons on here. Those look really good. And then you can see it comes with a nice scarf. And you take that off, you can see his shirt and trousers underneath. He also comes with a tie, which is really nice. And then there's also this belt. And then lastly are the boots, which I think look really good. Now, the pant legs do come untucked, so you gotta just tuck those inside of the boots, but that's not hard to do. Oh, and then lastly, the gloved hands, which I kind of touched briefly earlier. And if you don't like these, you can always swap them out. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of how they look, but they actually aren't too bad. They hold the BAR pretty well. So, all right, guys. Well, that is Larry Reed. You know, I know I was a little bit critical of this figure, but there definitely are some issues to be aware of if you do find him. He's a bit unfinished and it's got some frustrating production issues with him. But once you get everything onto him, he looks amazing. I really love the overall look of this figure. And like I say, you can always customize him and add more stuff. It's just kind of annoying that they didn't include more equipment with him. But yeah, I really like him. So I definitely recommend picking up this figure. Like I said, he is incredibly rare, so it might take you a long time. It took me several years to get him. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.